when we're looking at the way that the country has went and the way things have been implemented in globally, they are trying to get rid of men. They're trying to completely get rid of masculinity. Once you get rid of masculinity, then you can get rid of femininity and forget those energies. Let me stop doing that because I hate playing with these words. This is what's happened to us anyway. You destroy a man, you can destroy the woman, and once you destroy the man and woman, you destroy the children and you destroy the family. The main goal they're trying to do is make us fight with these words when we know to the skin, to the hair, to the bone, to your pelvic area, you're a woman. There's nothing about you that's masculine. There's nothing about me that's feminine. We have traits that are similar that can say that we share. When I show empathy, that doesn't make me feminine. When you show strength and endurance and resilience, that doesn't make you masculine. We just have certain traits that can look similar. Just say these are traits that we share. But there's nothing I can do to be a woman. There's nothing you can do to be a man. It's straight manhood and this woman. And I believe they throw this out to people so we're confused and we sit here fighting over who's feminine, who's masculine. But I'm gonna tell you this: men are meant to lead and women are meant to follow. And we know this. If we came up to JR, we started telling them how to run a show, this whole show was shut down. Men are supposed to be in leadership positions. Women are supposed to be helping that man and sustain the household. And we know this because if a man shows emotion, let's say I use Precious for example. A lot of women go, stop acting like a bitch, and you stop being so sensitive. If I try to communicate with Precious, she'll at least stop raising your voice. If I use intelligence and leadership, a lot of today's women go, hey, you trying to be controlling. So once you start negotiating with a woman a little bit and make her think that y'all 50-50 and y'all equal and partners, you already lost the family because that person is going to tell you that they need a leader. But as soon as you start negotiating with her, she feel like you're not sufficient enough and you can't lead her. So men lead. We need to go back to gender roles, starting from the school, from the infrastructure of schools, teaching what a man is, what a woman is, and everybody gets in line like Paris was talking about a while ago. We need to create men and women. We need to know what our roles are, and then we need to have families that thrive.
Ali
I
saying
hate that we're not. Oh, go
masculine
ahead.
and feminine, saying that masculine and feminine energy, don't exist, don't take away from testosterone or estrogen. Like when you have estrogen, you can have estrogen as something considered red dot, which we know that's something in McDonald's fries, that's something in chips, that's something that's in a lot of things, which subsequently, if you keep eating those things, it will increase estrogen in anybody. A man taking steroids is going to increase testosterone in anybody, which is going to increase masculine energy. If I take a steroid and I start to grow hair in places that men technically are growing hair in,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to increase masculine energy, which is going to warp my brain to start
Mm-hmm.
behaving in a male faceted manner. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I go back to saying, like, hey, there don't need to be no balance. I don't need 50-50
Yeah.
masculinity and femininity. I don't need 50-50 of testosterone and estrogen. I need to have just enough of masculinity in order to be able to exude certain things, because of course that is just natural for survival. That's all it is. It's just natural for survival. So when we're talking emotion, emotion is feminine, whether it's a good emotion or bad emotion. Now when you
Mm-hmm.
start to irrationally behave under emotion, depending on how extreme it gets and if it goes to physicality, if a person
Mm-hmm.
gets depressed, that is
Mm-hmm.
a feminine reaction to emotion, because they shut down, they stop doing. But if a person gets physical and they get outrageous and they start being belligerent, that is masculine, because that is how men behave. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I just, like I said, it's a chemical. I disagree because then how do you explain a stud and a gay man? What? How can someone be completely a stud? How can a woman end up completely act like become a man? If everybody has the balance of what you're saying of masculine
No, I didn't
and
say everybody has a balance. I said we don't need a balance. I don't need you to have 50% of femininity. That's warped to me. So what I'm saying is that studs and gay men, the ones that exist that have those things, they have an imbalance. That's the point. They don't
mm,
need it.
I would disagree with you, but we can
I
agree to
don't know. I think
disagree.
they
yeah,
just
let me go get Precious in there. Yeah, go ahead, Precious.
um I just wanted to say, as far as the because I spoke on it earlier, but as far as masculine and feminine, I really wish that um we studied more on these instead of going to social media or getting the well, you feminine because of this, or you
Right.
feminine because of that. I wish we knew more of the educational background on this instead of what we hear in the
Right.
streets, because like Ali was saying, it's the stigma between the two where we can't move forward really. And if we knew that, if we focus more on what it is educationally rather what it is societal wise or cultural wise, there may be a better chance for for the two to actually understand each other and not kind of
Of course.
repel each other, because it's like, oh well, you being feminine. It's like, oh no, well he's showing emotion, so let me analyze this for what it is, or let me, we don't take a step back anymore and just see things for what they are. We're so quick to label it, we're so quick
Right.
to bash someone, we're so quick to put them down. And knowing that we all have masculine and feminine energy, how is it being channeled? That's a question that you have to ask yourself and your the person that
Right.
you're with. How are you channeling that energy?
Right.
Because that will then determine your next steps or how you should handle the situation and not put someone down because they're channeling more energy than you probably would want them to.
But
Well,
so
education, you guys rejected it.
ooh,
Well, not me,
I
because I'm
also
all for
think the
education.
Well, I looked up this testosterone
But you were given the right
and estrogen levels because
definition,
I
Kurt.
know sometimes we are learning stuff, but we don't like read
it's a
fully
chemical.
of kind of like what's going on. So on here it says healthline.com, it says testosterone is the most significant hormone to male sexual development and function, but estrogen needs to stay in balance with the testosterone to help control sex drive, the ability to have erection, and the production of sperm. So that's what estrogen does for a man.
Right. And when there's
It
when we
has
talk
nothing to do with femininity and
exactly,
his
and
nurturing factor.
right, and when we link it to saying it's an imbalance, that's why someone's a stud or homosexual. That's wrong too, because truly, when people who are trying to transition start taking hormones, if a man is taking too much estrogen, it destroys his body. If a woman's taking too much testosterone, it alters her body and destroys her body as well too. It hurts our bodies when we're taking hormones, especially when a person goes to transition as well too. But the hormones that people are taking to transition is hurting them.
Well, that's why I feel like,
but those correct, because by definition, feminine energy is associated with a born female, and born females have estrogen in them. And if you look at what estrogen does, it modifies your moods, etc., etc. And masculine energy is born with the associated male. It is identified with a boy male or a regular gender male, however you guys want to termalize it. So when you're talking about all of these things and you're increasing testosterone, everybody know what testosterone does for men. All of this correlates. So I'm sorry if you don't want to accept
it.
It
don't.
It's not
You can't prove energy. You can't prove masculine and feminine energy. That's where you're wrong. That does not link. That's not energy doesn't correlate with estrogen and testosterone. That's not true. And that's just energy. You're talking about energy. You can't define a man's energy or a woman's energy.
That's why I brought up kids, because like my son played football and my son was suppressing these emotions that he had on the field. So he ended up coming to me and I was like, you talk to your dad every day. Why you couldn't talk to your dad about these things? Because I don't know what goes on in football. So he was like, well, he gonna think that I'm a girl or I'm. So it's like, you got to think about where little boys, they feel like having emotions is being a girl, it's being girly. That's not a way to go, because most men grow up to feel like they gotta suppress
in a way it is, mommy 3. If Trev and me, hold on, if me and Trev and Sweeney, go ahead.
Hold on, let me finish. So when I said talk to your dad about these, so when he talked to his dad, meaning a young boy talking to their dad, now he had a better understanding, because me as a woman, I'm gonna respond in a feminine energy. So now he got the guidance on a man perspective on what you should do when you have these type of situations. And my son dad said, that's not being a girl. If that's how you feel that way. But this is what you need to do when you feel that way on the field. Don't let your emotions get in the way of you getting that touchdown. That's what I'm saying. Like, but you got so many kids feeling like they can't come to their own dad. Like, just imagine your son in a room and he feeling some type of way. You don't even know it.